Hey, Dawgs, this is the Brown Tiger. Just wanted to say, whoever is the quarterback, doesn't matter, Brissett or Watson, let's show everybody why our team is the top 5 team in the NFL. Let's go, Browns. Woo, 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 woo.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Dawgs. If you want to get your intro on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. Today we're going to touch on the Josh Rosen signing as well as camp starting today and a few other things. But before we get into it, I got to remind you to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure to tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. If you prefer to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Lastly, if you're looking for more good Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. Calling all fantasy football fans, if you want to play with the Dawgs, and from people, Browns fans around the world, you got until we shoot the episode next week. So it's Wednesday right now. Tuesday or Wednesday next week. We got to make a cutoff so we can start organizing it. It's going to be tough to organize 4 leagues with people across the world as it is, so we got to cut it off at some point. So you got 6 to 7 days. So if you want to play fantasy football with us, make sure you jump into the Patreon, and then we'll get your info so you can play with us. If you don't want to play fantasy football, you still got an extra episode every week. We're gonna have Dog Pack Member of the Month. We have Music Mondays. We have daily threads about the Browns going on, all the Browns all the time. It's, like I said, Browns fans all across the world. So you get to meet a ton of cool people. If that's what you're into, check it out. Jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member. So before we move on, I had a special request from a Patreon member. This goes out to Tyler Heron. I just wanted to let you know that you're the ugly twin and that your mom loves Nick more.
Nice.
And we appreciate you listening to the show.
All the perks of being a Patreon member, right?
I had to get that out of the way. I said I'd do it. Take it up with your brother. So we got some good stuff to get into today. Obviously, camp started for the Browns and pretty much most of the teams around the league. We had our first look at the team. It was just shorts and T-shirts. Pretty slow today from the videos I saw. A lot of like walkthroughs, that kind of thing. Deshaun took all the first-team reps because Sue Robinson still just like sitting around doing nothing. I wonder if she forgot she's supposed to come up with a decision. We did see some plays with Chubb and Hunt on the field together. The one play I saw, Hunt was in the slot, motion in the backfield, and then, so it was Chubb, Deshaun, Hunt. Then it was almost like a counter where Hunt came across like a fullback, blocked, Chubb got the ball. That could be deadly. I'm not a huge fan. I didn't like the way Freddie would put them in the backfield together. It felt very gimmicky, to put Kareem Hunt in what were they, like a wishbone?
Yeah, well, with Freddie, on the sideline, he was like, hey, we should put Kareem Hunt out there too. Go get out there.
Yeah. So it felt very gimmicky when Freddie did it. I think something like that, it can be, I don't want to see it every play because I really like having one of those dudes with fresh legs at the end of the game, and we're sending a top 10 back at him with fresh legs. But to do that a few plays a game, sprinkle it in here, there could be very good for the Browns, especially with the threat of Deshaun running.
But, with Dearness Johnson and, Jerome Ford, too. People still kind of forget that we have him out of the draft this year. We've got some good running backs behind those two that, if they are not completely fresh at the end of the game, there are good legs to be brought in.
The depth is ridiculous.
It's awesome.
In the running book. It's insane.
Yeah. It would be nice if we could have that in the tight end room or the wide receiver room.
The tight end thing is still a little like, when are you going to bring somebody in?
Yeah, no kidding. Kyle Rudolph went to the Bucks. That leaves Ebron. Go get him before somebody else does.
Yeah.
Because we're so thin at tight end. And I can't believe we haven't done it already.
I was going to say, there's no saying we haven't tried. Maybe people we've reached out to have said, I want to wait. Maybe they want to wait and see what happens with Deshaun. Maybe they're like, well, I'm not going to come there this year if Deshaun's not the guy.
Yep. I guess, too, like some older players, like a guy like Ebron, he's like, I don't want to be there for camp.
We've heard that. We've read that in multiple reports before about other players that kind of just take their time. Yeah.
So we'll see, but it would have been nice to get somebody in for camp so they could learn the offense. I guess the biggest news for camp today was we had a multiple amount, or not a multiple amount, that's a stupid way to say it. We had a bunch of guys start the camp on the PUP list. Says the physically unable to perform list. Nothing major as far as I know, mostly precautionary. Do you have that list?
I do, yeah. So they added Conklin and Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward for the foot, and then Jack Conklin was knee. They added them yesterday. David Bell went on it, a week ago?
I think that's the biggest one. If he was able to play, he'd be playing because he's got to learn the offense.
Yep, so they're on the PUP list, and then they have Sheldon Day with a back injury and linebacker Anthony Walker, a groin injury. That's basically on the active non-football injury list. And then Javon Wims was placed on the active non-football illness list. So those are the guys right now.
Do you want to go ahead and explain kind of for people who don't know what the PUP list is?
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it before the show, and just some of the, the information I pulled up here says the PUP list is designed for players who enter camp unable to play as a result of an injury suffered participating in job-related activities. So like working out on their own or doing something else like riding an ATV do not qualify is what they're saying. So it has to be like team-related activities. So
it's almost like if you're at work, you can't get workers' comp unless you got hurt at work.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this said just because a player is on the PUP list, it's not a reason to panic. They can still, we talked about this, they can still work out, attend team meetings, conditioning, all that kind of stuff while they're at camp. They just can't actually get on the field and practice. So just because these guys are on the PUP doesn't mean they're sitting on the sideline with their leg in a cast. Like they're still working out, they're still in the team meetings, they're just not actually on the field right now.
Well, and I think like what the good thing is we talked about is if they go on the PUP before the start of camp, they come off as soon as they're cleared.
Correct.
And if they waited until camp started, then they don't get to go on the PUP. They have to go on the injured reserve. And then that's it. And then that's a designated amount of time. So it's good to just get them on before. That way, as they're ready, they can come off that list and start practicing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Once a player has participated in even a single second of a training camp practice, they're no longer eligible to go on a PUP list.
Okay.
So that's why these teams are putting players on the PUP list before they get them on the field to make sure they're healthy.
Yep.
So if they go on the field, they cannot then be put on the PUP list.
I mean, I guess the good thing is, like, we don't have any players this year that got on motorcycles and crashed them, heading into training camp. So, hey, a positive. We're moving forward from the past.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's a new day here in Cleveland.
That's right.
So that's kind of the only – we don't have a ton of training camp news today because we're recording on the first day of camp. We're going to be up there Saturday, so if you guys see the dogs, make sure you say hello. We like meeting the people.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned to TikTok. We'll try to be – I know last year I was trying to post a TikTok while we were at camp. It was a little sketchy just because of the cell service up there wasn't too quick.
Oh, boy.
But we got a couple videos up last year.
Yeah, they're in the tens of hundreds of views.
Or the tens.
Yeah. But so then the biggest news of the week, coming out of the quarterback room, it wasn't Deshaun Watson. It was that the Browns signed former first-round draft pick of the Arizona Cardinals, Josh Rosen, to a one-year deal. The biggest thing I have to say about this is everybody needs to, chill. You got Browns fans screaming, "What are we doing? This guy's awful." No argument here. Okay. Okay? No argument. But then you have the Browns haters who are like, Browns is the Browns. Get rid of Baker. And then now you got Josh Rosen. Guys, Josh Rosen is never going to see the field. He is signed as a camp arm, as a third string, second string quarterback. We did not sign him to play. Relax.
No, he's like Garrett Gilbert. You got to have somebody to start that third preseason game.
Yeah.
You can't have Deshaun out there in the preseason the whole game. You can't have Jacoby, especially if he's the QB1. Josh Dobbs, you got to have guys, like you said. He's a camp arm.
Yeah, and so just chill out. And the way I look at this is reports are he's grown up a lot. He's matured a lot. I mean, a lot of times you hear this, and so you don't know if it's true or not. But if it's true, I mean, the guy had first-round talent, supposedly, at one point not that long ago.
Well, when he came out of UCLA, whenever I don't know, what it, like his sophomore year or whatever, he was all the hype.
He was higher up on a lot of people's draft boards as far as talent-wise. I mean, his attitude's kind of always been his problem.
Yeah.
But so what if he has matured and he comes out and he plays well in the preseason? I mean, we know it's the preseason, but what if he plays well and now all of a sudden you got teams out there who need a quarterback? Maybe they'll take a flyer on this guy, and now the Browns have a trade piece. It's win-win for the Browns. I mean, it's a 1 year $1 million deal. It's nothing. We have $40 million in cap space.
Yeah.
It's no risk.
And like you said, I mean, when he came in the league, I remember because, he was 21 when he came in. I mean, that's really young for any player to come in the NFL, but especially a quarterback, because that's such a high pressure position, and he definitely was not mature enough.
No. And he didn't play like he was mature.
No. Well, and I'm not trying to, make it seem like Josh Rosen is a diamond in the rough or something.
Right,
but
right.
At the same time, let's realize he was never. I mean, he's been pretty much set up to fail since he came into the league. He went to the Cardinals, who was awful, and then they ditched him after one season.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to the Dolphins, and he never got a shot there. Would they draft Tua?
So basically, his whole career has been, I'm going to a team, and then I play so poorly that they just go and get a new quarterback because the draft pick is so excellent. Now, to back up your point, I was looking at PFF. So since 2015, the lowest passing grade blocks by offensive line, guess who two of those teams are?
The Cardinals and the Dolphins?
So the 2008 Cardinals with a 52.2.
2008 or 2018?
18, sorry. 52.2 pass blocking grade. And then 2019, the Dolphins had a 46.1, lowest since 2015. Gosh. So... And I'm not defending the guy. Honestly, when they announced it, I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! What? Oh my God! This is the when they."
I think I sent the puke emoji.
Yeah, you did.
When they said, "Hey, these are the two guys we were working on," I'm like, "Great! This guy who can't succeed anywhere and just sets teams up to be successful with the next pick, that's coming." Or the guy that we could not trade for because we couldn't turn paperwork in on time. Those are our two big options right now.
AJ McCarron.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So, to me, I guess I'm one of the people with disappointment. Yes, there is disappointment there, but I understand that we probably won't see this guy. But there is also a real chance, let's say he makes the roster because they're going to carry quarterbacks. They're going to have to, depending on what the suspension is.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if Jacoby Brissett does get hurt? I mean, either Josh Dobbs or Josh Rosen are going to have to step in.
Well, I get that, but at the same time, no, go tell me a team in the league that they're essentially their third string quarterback is serviceable.
Right.
There isn't one.
Right.
And if we get to that point, if Deshaun's out and Jacoby gets hurt,
right.
We're in trouble.
We're just screwed because and to talk about Josh Rosen as the guy that they brought in is that kind of insurance piece, real depth, camp arm. I mean, the top of the free agent pool is Cam Newton. We've already talked about him.
Yeah. And
then it's Mike Glennon, AJ McCarron, who we did try out. We could go back to Garrett Gilbert.
How bad's AJ McCarron? I mean, Josh Rosen just beat him out in a workout.
Right. Yeah. Garrett Gilbert's still out there. Nate Stanley, remember him?
Nope.
Okay. How about Kurt Benkert?
Nope.
Remember him?
Kurt Benkert?
Yeah. Kurt Benkert.
Ain't got no gas in it.
I mean, just look at the names of who's actually available.
Yeah, I ain't heard of
I'm
the
telling
last
you,
few.
Josh Rosen is probably the.
Have you heard of those guys?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
No.
Maybe I'm slacking.
The dude had first round talent not that long ago.
Right.
So, I mean, if he gets it together between the years, who knows? Maybe he can play a little bit. I mean, I'm not holding my breath, but again, we're not signing this guy to be the future.
Yep.
So people need to chill out.
And if it's at that point anyway, well,
yes, like I said,
we're looking to the future.
If Deshaun's out and Jacoby's out, well, then the season's probably washed anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go tell me a team that's super deep at their third quarterback.
Yep.
It doesn't exist. Most people don't have a good backup.
Right.
So
don't have a good starter.
Yeah. So it's calm down. This isn't even on the list, but I feel like we should touch on this. It did happen this week. Speaking of Rosen, the guy who replaced him after 1 year, Kyler Murray, got a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Do we know how? I know this is right off.
$160 million guaranteed, $230
so
contract.
Call me crazy. We got Deshaun for $230, and they got Kyler for $230. I will take Deshaun 100 times out of 100 over that. I do not think Kyler Murray he's like fringe 12 to 13, in my opinion.
He's the second highest paid quarterback in the league now.
Yeah, he is not that good. I saw a thing, him and Baker stats next to each other, they're very similar.
That's crazy.
Yeah, sorry, I was actually pulling up the contract just to as you were rattling it off. But you got to memorize. That was awesome.
Yeah,
but, But I thought the same thing. All that money they gave Kyler, it's just
people are ragging on the Browns because, guys, do you remember this is Deshaun Watson?
Yep.
And I get that it's the $230 guaranteed, but we'll figure it's not that big of it. We'll figure it out.
And this is why teams were so mad that the Browns gave Deshaun what they did.
Yeah.
And the market
because
is going to go up. And now every quarterback that is going to get it. So Burrow's coming up.
Yep.
Herbert coming up.
We'll see what kind of deal Lamar gets down to Miami.
I think Lamar.
Yeah. As soon as in Miami, I like that. As soon as the Browns signed Deshaun Watson, the Cardinals were like, oh. And Kyler's just like, hey, you see that?
Yeah, I played last year.
This is kind of off topic, but how dysfunctional is Arizona? Get that. I don't know. You sent it too, but basically his contract got leaked, and they said you have to study for 4 hours.
Oh yeah,
a week.
right.
Yeah, that's why I want to talk about this.
First off, it's crazy that his contract's even out there in the internet. If Kyler Murray, I'm like, hey, somebody needs to tighten it up. We need to tighten it up a little bit. Why is my contract out on the internet? And why it's bad that. I don't know if you want to touch on it, man. This was going to be your point, but the fact that you have to put that. What'd they call it? A addendum or something?
Yeah, an addendum into the contract. Like, hey, if you don't study film for 4 hours on your own every week, your contract's void. What?
It sounded like a little kid, like a teacher talking to. They're like, and then you'll get credit for it. And I was like, credit?
Call me crazy.
Credit?
I feel like 4 hours isn't even that long.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, you do 4 hours a day if you're
4 hours in the morning, and then you go practice. And you do 4 hours afterwards.
No, I know they're saying outside of the facility and everything like that,
but still the same in an hour a day.
That's crazy.
I mean, I watch an hour of film every day.
Does Madden count? Because that's what the report is. That he likes to do a little gaming, and that's
I've heard from more than one place. Like, I don't have sources, but just videos and stuff like that. He's just kind of a tool. That's just he's just kind of a douche. I mean, that's just the only way to say it.
Well, I mean, you see it with a lot of these younger players now. They kind of expect to come in the league and have success without putting in the work. I mean, Chase Claypool's a great example of a guy that just thought he was going to rely on his raw talent and everything, and it's like, you got to work.
Don't get me wrong, Kyler. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's a bust or he sucks. He's just not $230 million. No. He's not Deshaun Watson level quarterback.
No, not at all. And he's too small. He's not going to last very long in this league. I really don't think so.
So to me, that when I saw that, I was like, we got to steal.
Yeah.
We got to steal.
And every quarterback that gets signed, it'll just go, wow, man, that deal's looking a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
in 2 years, Deshaun Watson will be the 11th highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yep.
Yeah. Can I touch on one last thing with Josh Rosen?
Good.
And just this is the thing that bothered me the most about the entire situation. Did you guys see what number he picked?
No.
Did he choose Bernie's number?
Yes.
I did. I saw a picture of it.
Here's my thing is, I know Bernie didn't put up Hall of Fame numbers, and I don't think Bernie's going to make the Hall of Fame. But for a guy he is the top of the Cleveland sports as far as the Browns.
He's an icon.
He's an icon. The only guy that's above him would be Jim Brown. But how is 19 not retired? And then I looked up some of the names that have worn 19 because I was like, oh man, there can't be too many guys. Just a whole bunch of.
One of my favorite guys wore it.
Are you talking about Corey?
Yeah, didn't
Corey Coleman wore it? Yep. I was just like, man.
At least he wasn't a quarterback though.
Yeah.
I just maybe I just read into it way too much, but I was just like, oh man. I know you got to pick a number, but.
You'd think somebody would have been like, hey, man, maybe not this one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a huge deal.
You know who used to wear that number?
But
Corey Coleman?
I'm hey, man.
The guy that got hit in the face mask with the pass to win the game, for
maybe we get some one win. And put a 0.5.
Yeah.
Something, change it up a little bit. I did see that. I was like, man. Probably not the best look.
Yeah. I was just kind of surprised by that. And I know that that's so simple but we're in the depth of the off season.
If you want to make the team, don't pick that number because now there's more incentive to not keep you.
Or to not like you.
Bernie's like, I like your number. I hope things work out for you this year. I really do. I really hope so. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, so that's what we wanted to touch on the Josh Rosen signing. So if you guys were freaking out, just relax. He's not going to play for the Browns, at least. And if he is, that means things went really bad.
And he's only got to watch film 2 hours a week.
Yeah, because his contract was way less.
He probably has to watch.
I mean, if you go by percentage wise, he probably only has to watch
film, a minute.
Yeah, a minute or two a day.
What's going on, Browns fans? The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's a lot of dough. That's right. Make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in. You can throw down on all the major action on baseball, golf, MMA, and more. Plus, with same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props, your betting options never feel endless. Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Look forward to betting with you soon, and minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. God bless.
So then another thing we wanted to talk about, USA Today put out an article where they predicted the records of all the teams in the league. And the biggest joke I've ever seen, they predicted the Browns to go 6-11. And in the article, the reasoning is because of the question mark at quarterback. But then they picked the Steelers to go second in the division and go, I think, 9-8.
Third
in the division.
At 9-8. They have Baltimore and Cincy tied, I think, correct?
12-5, yeah. Then the Steelers at 9-8. The Steelers don't have a question mark at quarterback?
Yeah.
They do.
A couple.
Yeah. It's either Mitch Trubisky.
Three of them.
Yeah. It's Mitch Trubisky, who was a backup last year, or small hands Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Don't forget about Mason.
I saw some report
Mason
today
Rudolph.
that somebody in the Steelers organization, right? Is that what it was? Somebody said Mason Rudolph could compete for that starting job, and I was like, well, I can't even click on this article. This is obviously stupid.
So the reasoning is so ignorant. And then the Browns won 8 games last year with bottom 5 QB play. Jacoby Brissett, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Jacoby Brissett is a great or good quarterback, but Jacoby Brissett is better than the Baker we had last year.
I would say Jacoby Brissett is a good enough quarterback.
Yeah. That's fair.
He's a good enough to get you to 500. He's good enough to get you more than 6 games.
I think he can get you 500, and the rest of the roster can get us over. I really do. If it had to be a full season of Brissett, I think we'd go over 500. The team's good enough.
It'd be close. It'd come down to that last game, I believe.
I agree. I think if Brissett had to play every game this year, we win 8 or 9 games.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And just like I think it's just a lot of the same thing as last year. We talked about that last week. So to pick us to go 6-11, I mean,
that's just disrespectful.
Give me a freaking break.
Yeah.
And then your reasoning is question mark at quarterback, but you picked a team in the same division to win 3 more games than us. You mean to tell me Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky's the 3-game difference better over the Browns with the roster we have? Okay. It's so stupid. There's just so much. I mean, I saw like the NFL Network did their AFC North breakdown. They didn't even include the Browns.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't even talk about the Browns. They just did.
I do know I've listened to some shows where they'll break down like each team in each division, and a lot of them aren't doing the Browns or saving that division for last because they're just trying to wait till this decision gets made because it does make a huge impact on how you project the players on the team, the record, everything.
I get that, but they did the North and just didn't include us. And it's like, okay, guys, we get it. Well, apparently the Browns are the only team in the league that has a guy on their team that, well, one, has never been proven to do anything wrong. But people didn't have any problem talking about the Cowboys when Greg Hardy played for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so give me a freaking break.
Oh, a little side note here. I thought this was funny. I wanted to mention this on the show. I was listening to another podcast today, and they were talking about Alvin Kamara, and it was the host of the show was talking about Alvin Kamara, and he's like, hopefully he doesn't get 6-game suspension. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended. I hope he doesn't get so he can play this year. And then they start talking about but the video evidence was pretty clear. He'll probably get suspended. The same host was bashing Deshaun Watson, saying there's no way this guy should be allowed to play this year. And I'm thinking, so wait, but now you're like promoting Alvin Kamara, who was on camera video beating the living bejesus out of somebody?
He must have him in fantasy, man.
That's what it was. They were talking about fantasy.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, and he was just like, oh, yeah, I hope he doesn't get suspended. I'm just thinking, how hypocritical.
It's his dynasty running back one.
Like, there's no evidence. against Deshaun.
No, you got Bengals fans talking crap about Deshaun. I remember growing up when half the Bengals team was in prison. You know what I mean?
It was notorious.
Yeah, like it was like every other week you found out a Bengals player was being arrested or something.
They called it Oakland East.
Yeah. So, I mean, give me a freaking break. There's so many freaking hypocrites around here as far as that's concerned. And then for them to pick us to go 6-11, come on.
I think 6-11 is pretty. That's pretty low. That's pretty rough. I'm with you. Like, I think we're a very 500-ish team with Brissett and for the whole season.
The league better hope we don't go 6-11, because then if that means if Deshaun didn't play the whole year, so then you mean to tell me next year we get Deshaun back and a top 10 pick?
Well, we wouldn't have that pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that pick's gone.
The Texans get that pick?
Yeah, the Texans.
I was waiting for you to say it, and I was like, he's going to be so wrong when he says
this. This is true. I forgot.
Baited him. You let him do it,
I did.
too.
I was just letting him go.
It's okay. We're supposed to be friends.
They're going to get a really dope top second-round pick.
Yeah, we're going to have a top 40 pick.
That's right. We're going to be picking at the beginning of day 2.
Yeah. I'm not used to the Browns not having first-round draft.
I know, or
fair.
having a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Also,
which is more shocking.
But no, like, I mean, come on, give me a break. There's no way you could watch football. We were ranked the 6th best roster in football. We have the best line in football. We have the best running back duos in football. We have, according to Madden, a top 10 receiver. I don't think he's top 10, a top 15 receiver.
Look at our secondary. Look at just the
the defense is loaded,
nasty this year.
Yeah. So
and the defense is. We talked about it before. They're saying we don't care. We literally don't care who the quarterback is. We're going to go out and do our job, and we're handling business.
Great. If the defense picks up where they left off the last 10 games last year,
we're going to be in some games.
And we don't have 12 new starters this year.
Yep.
Or 11 or 9 or whatever it was. I guess you don't start 12 people. I think it was 9. It was 9 new starters last year.
Big time on your game today. I'm just doing whatever I want out here.
But no.
NFL Street League.
So to me, this is a complete joke. You lose all credibility when you put out stuff like this.
Yeah, and just even thinking about the roster with Jacoby Brissett, I mean, are you telling me that he's going to miss guys like Amari Cooper and David Bell and DPJ worse than Baker missed Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and those guys last year? Austin Hooper being overthrown all the time? I don't think so.
I mean, they picked the Bills to go 15-2. I think the Bills are going to be really good. We think somebody's only losing 2 games this year.
See, in those kind of predictions, I get that every now and again you'll have like a Packers that go 13-3 a couple years in a row. I get that, but most teams are going to lose 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
Good teams.
Yeah. It's fair. I mean, you have to play the game.
Yeah.
There's shocking games every week where you're like, man, I would have never, like you do your pick'ems, and you're like, I would have never picked that team.
Here's what's crazy. They picked the Browns to go 6-11, and then they picked the Jaguars to go 6-11.
Oh, come on!
You mean to tell me you think the Browns are going to have the same record as the Jaguars? Are putting them on the same level? I mean, come on. They picked the Panthers to only go 7-10. They were the 26th ranked roster.
Right.
We're only 1 game better than them.
No, they're 1 game better than us.
They're 1 game better than us.
Blake's on a roll tonight.
I'm struggling with. I didn't get much sleep last night. Yeah. I'm in the process. I've been moving. I ripped out carpet yesterday.
Bro, you're good, dog.
I'm struggling. I told Justin I've had a monster every day for like a month.
Sounds about right. That sounds like the.
So any one of these episodes, my heart's just gonna explode onto the table.
We'll just leave it up here with the rest of the display.
That's fine.
But I mean, come on. So you mean tell me that the Panthers don't have any question marks at quarterback? The one we just got rid of
right now.
Sam Darnold and a rookie, and then a former XFL player. I mean, come on, give me a freaking break. That makes no sense.
I did see a report today though that Trevor Lawrence looks really good in camp so far.
Yeah,
getting off the bus
with his locks.
I don't want to touch. I did see that it is. By the way, a lot of people are calling me and Justin out. Full-on QB competition in Carolina. And day 1 did not go to our former quarterback. He was booty today.
Well, I know that he threw picks, but I promise you Sam Darnold is itching to even the score.
So we'll see how that goes. I know I'm just waiting I got receipts. A lot of people were trashing Justin's name.
Very critical.
Yeah.
And I thought we were very rational. I thought it was very rational logic that we rolled out there. And
if you're looking for rationality, don't go to TikTok. That's not the right place.
No.
It's a different universe.
Yeah. So, but that's our thoughts on the USA Today article. If you didn't get to read it, go check it out.
Or don't.
It's a freaking joke. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Browns fans, you've heard us talking about Omaha Steaks for a while now, and they are seriously the best steaks that we have ever had. Summer is here, and no backyard grill out is complete without Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter DAWGS, DAWGS, into the search bar. You're going to get a special price on the All-American assortment, and as a tasty bonus, you've been hearing us talk about the 8 free ultra juicy Omaha steak burgers that you get when you place your order. Well, now they're changing the deal, and you now get 12 of those babies. So you get 12 free Omaha steak burgers with your order when you go to omahasteaks.com, enter DAWGS into the search bar, order the All-American assortment. You get 16 mouth-watering entrees, 4 famously fork tender, double trim, butcher's cut filet mignons, 4 pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts. Is anybody else here getting hungry? Plus, so much more. There's a reason why Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks since 1917. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and the value of Omaha Steaks. So go now, order the All-American assortment, fill your freezer with enough gourmet food to keep your cookouts going strong all summer long. And don't forget, for a limited time, our listeners get 12 free Omaha Steak burgers when they order the All-American assortment. So hurry up, visit omahasteaks.com, type in keyword DAWGS, DAWGS, into the search bar. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword DAWGS. I was going to say, do you guys have any other topics that we wanted to hit on before or for this show?
Yeah.
What else? I'm like, I got something to talk about. Well, go ahead.
Good.
So it came out today. I don't remember. Do you remember the guy who put this out?
Oh.
Some dude on Twitter, a reporter. It was reported today that before the Browns pursued.
Oh, geez. We even talked about it's not in the show, Doc. That's
right. It was a late edition.
Give me some of that monster.
This was a late addition to the show. We pursued Russell Wilson before, like a couple times, actually. I guess like we were trying to get him. And he turned us down as well as, I guess, multiple other teams. And then he chose the Broncos in front of everybody. So Justin asked me this on the way up, and it was like, knowing the way things are going now, would you rather have Deshaun Watson or would you rather have Russell Wilson? You got to look at it I think Deshaun's going to be worth the headache.
I do too, and it's because the headache is not because of Deshaun; it's because of the situation. Like, he's not doing anything. Like, it's not like he's out talking garbage, or
he's not Antonio Browning.
Exactly, he's not Antonio Brown. He's not on camera caught hitting people or knocking people out in an elevator. Like now, it's people attacking him that's causing the headache.
There's got to be like some accountability on his end of, regardless of, proof or not proof, I think that you still have to say, hey, he's in this situation, but
I think he's made comments like that as far as, but he's maintained that he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Here's my thing is I think they're both really good. I think Russell Wilson's really good. I'm a big Russell Wilson fan.
He's a future Hall of Famer.
But I think Deshaun Watson's better. I think he's definitely better. And he's significantly younger. And I think what people are losing sight of is no matter what happens, Deshaun Watson's going to play for the Browns. And he's going to play multiple years for the Browns.
Yeah.
He's not about to get a lifelong suspension.
Deshaun Watson's 25, 26. Russell Wilson's 33. So by the time Deshaun Watson's contract is up, he's going to be close to the age Russell Wilson is now. He'll be younger than he is now.
He'll be younger than Russell Wilson is now. In worst case scenario, Deshaun's out this whole year. We still have him for 5 years. I said we've waited 30 years to get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We can wait one more. And I think he's playing this year.
I think the chances of him having a year-long suspension are very, very,
yes,
very
I think
slim.
he's playing at least half. If not, I think he's going to play 10 or 11 games this year.
Yeah.
So it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. We got him for the same price the Cardinals got Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And I know people argue we gave up the draft picks. I really don't care about draft picks when the roster is already built.
Yeah, that's fair.
We did okay this year without him, the draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean on excellent paper, I guess.
Yeah, on paper, it looks like an excellent draft. It looks, when you're missing a top 15 pick, that's great.
And we spent 30 years without a quarterback and always striking out on first-round picks.
Yeah.
So we were wasting them anyway.
To the people screaming about first-round picks, that's my argument, is we had top 10 picks almost my whole life.
Yeah, sometimes
How many are still on the team?
Yeah.
How many are still in the league?
Yeah.
So, the picks to me are the way the league is done now and free agency, the picks, I'm not saying the draft isn't important. It's not as important as it was 20 years ago.
No, the league right now is if you can go get proven talent, you go get it.
Yeah, because potential doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And then if your potential talent is that good, more potential talent comes and joins up with it. Guys like to come and play with proven winners.
Yep. You always talk about Stafford in L.A. You know, they went and got him. They won a Super Bowl, and guys came to play with him.
100%. Yeah. And people wanted us to not try to upgrade because we won one playoff game.
Yep.
In 3 decades. It's crazy.
I know.
You know what I mean? So, so are we all in agreement, Deshaun?
Yeah. And for the same reasons you pretty much said, like, don't get me wrong, I love Russell Wilson. I still think he's got a few good years left in him. But, man, you're getting Deshaun Watson when he left a top 5 quarterback, basically still in his prime. Don't get me wrong, there may be some rust. That's fine. But for the next 5 years, you have a legitimate Super Bowl window.
I don't even think Deshaun Watson was in his prime the last time we saw him play. I think he was still ascending because he was, the last time he played, he was 23, right?
Yeah.
23, 24. I mean, he's still.
The ceiling is stupid high.
He hasn't even hit that pinnacle yet.
And we talk about the rust. I just don't know if there's going to be that much rust. I mean, the dude's an elite, like, generational type talent. And it's not, it's been a year. It's not like he hasn't played in 5 years.
And he wasn't injured.
Yeah. So he's been
practicing,
working out, staying in shape. And the first time he threw at OTAs, people were putting out articles saying, no disrespect to former Browns quarterbacks, but it's obvious
this guy's different.
This is the best player we've ever had.
Yep.
It's a quarterback position. So I just don't think he's going to be that rusty. And I mean, you're talking about he's so young. As long as things work out, we have him for a decade.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years, the quarterback position is set.
Aaron Rodgers is what, 36, 37?
Yeah.
You know?
What about that Tom Brady guy?
He's like 59.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Still getting it.
I don't think people grasp the fact that even they're so short focused on just this year. Well, he might not play this year. That would suck. It would 100% suck.
Yeah.
We still have him for the next 10.
Yeah. And it's that recency bias of, he hasn't played in a year. They forget real quick how good he is because they haven't seen him.
Go watch some videos.
Please.
So, I think we got time. What was the one thing you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so the last thing I just wanted to throw out there, I was just kind of scrolling through here, and it says, just confirming that Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf and 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel, they're at training camp, but they're not practicing until they get contract.
So they're just like, hey, guys, what's up?
Yep.
You guys look tired. You guys look tired out there.
They're just standing around like flexing, like so the team. Like,
probably those two they're beastly dudes, but instead of sitting out or holding out, now it's holding in.
Okay.
So are they still getting paid?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so it'd be like showing up to work and being like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm not going to do my job,
but I'm here.
Me. Yeah.
I mean, I guess if that works, good for them. We'll see.
But I was just curious, like, do you guys see contracts getting done with those teams, or do you think that one or both of those guys could be playing somewhere else this year?
No, both those guys are going to be on those teams this year.
I agree.
Whether they get contracts or not. I mean, at the end of the day.
True.
Because they're
still
not
on their rookie deal.
You're not going to sit there and go, oh, well, I guess you're just going to find me, millions of dollars.
Especially because they're on rookie deals. Like, if you've been paid $20 million, you can get fined $800,000 a week for a season and be okay. Yeah. If you're on your rookie deal, you probably can't afford that.
It's true.
Not unless you've been living well within your means, living on $60K a year. You know what I mean? But they're probably not. Yeah. And they're millionaires, so they're probably out there enjoying their money.
The only leverage, though, like the players do have leverage of this kind of talent caliber because,
for sure,
they can tell the team, okay, fine, you can find me, but I'm not going to play. And the team then is in that hard spot of, well, I can either find him and put him on the bench, he's not going to play, or I'll just trade him and get something for him because he's at least got value. So I would say the one guy I could see DK Metcalf being the one just because the Seahawks don't have the quarterback situation. They just don't have the team to say, all right, we're going to put up with this crap and pay him if they could just get future draft capital for him or whatever.
Who do you think is more important to their team?
I think Deebo Samuel right now is more important to the San Francisco 49ers.
100%.
Because they actually have a team put together around him.
He might be like one of the most important non-quarterbacks, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
He does so much.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 60% of their offense.
If I was them, I would be figuring that contract out.
Mm-hmm.
And then
both of them.
One more thing, I guess they officially moved on to Trey Lance.
I saw that. Yep.
I don't know if you guys saw. Yeah, they came out and they're like, "It's Trey Lance's team now. We'd already talked to Jimmy. Mm-hmm. He can go get his trade." So we'll see what happens there. All I know is John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan better hope Trey Lance works out.
Yep.
They better hope, because they just bailed on a dude who took them to an NFC championship and a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And for a guy who played not that many games in college.
When they gave up how many first-round draft picks to move up and get him at number 3 overall last year?
I thought they gave up 3 first-rounders.
I think you're right.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So they better, I mean.
So if you're wrong on that guy, you lost your job.
100%.
Like it's over.
I think if Trey Lance is a bust, those guys are gone.
No,
more than likely. Unless the owner was behind it too, like, no, go do this. But if this was like John Lynch went to the owner and said, hey, I know Jimmy's taking us to a Super Bowl, but I want this guy. And he was like, okay, do it at your own risk.
The risk isn't. The risk is here.
Yes,
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, it's funny because I've heard people say like the whole mortgage of the future thing about Deshaun. What the 49ers did, that's mortgaging the future, because you don't know that Trey Lance is the guy, but we know that Deshaun Watson is every bit as good as we paid him to be.
And Trey Lance didn't even play that many games in college.
No,
and he played
very limited.
At a small school. He even played at a premier college.
Yeah, which means that the competition he faced was not at a higher level like a lot of these other college athletes who play in bigger conferences.
So, I mean, we'll see there. I know a buddy of mine's a big Niners fan, and he wanted him to play Lance last year. So we'll see what happens. That's risky. That's a ballsy move.
It really is.
So, but that pretty much wraps up the episode for today. Hopefully next week we'll finally have some clarification on the Deshaun Watson news. With our luck, it's going to break as soon as we get in the truck to go home tonight.
I'm waiting for it.
It's going to break in
or it'll happen
August.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably finish uploading the podcast to YouTube and it'll come out.
Yeah, so that's usually how it works.
Very cool. Can't wait.
Yeah.
But thanks for checking out another episode. Football season's finally here. We're pumped. We made it through another off season. It's not always easy to come up with topics every week throughout the off season, so we appreciate you guys sticking it out with us through the thick and thin. If you're up at training camp on Saturday, look out for us. We're all going to be there. John's, as long as he wakes up, he's going to be there. So come say hi. We love meeting everybody, meeting other Browns fans. To all you Dog Pack members, we'll see you on the After Hours show. To everybody else, we will see you next week. And remember, if you want to play fantasy football, this is your last week to sign up.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast, and become an official Dog Pack member and join thedawgs.com.